Life is full of paradoxes. The more you try to control things, the more out of control you feel. The more you chase happiness, the further it seems to slip away. True wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about realizing how much you still don't know. We live in a world that constantly pushes for certainty and success. But real growth comes from embracing uncertainty, from seeing failure as part of the journey, and from understanding that the things we run from often hold the lessons we need the most. So, let's take a moment to reflect on some of life's deeper truths about learning, happiness, leadership, and what really makes life meaningful. The more you learn, the more you realize how much remains unknown. Knowledge doesn't just answer questions, it creates new ones. That's how science moves forward. That's how we grow. Happiness is strange. It doesn't like to be chased. The more you run after it, the more it slips away. But when you focus on doing things that matter, on meaningful work, on helping others, that's when happiness finds you. Trying to control everything? That's a fast track to stress. Real strength isn't about holding on too tightly. It's about being flexible, about adapting when life doesn't go as planned. Stability isn't in rigidity, it's in resilience. And uncertainty? It's not something to fear, it's a part of life. The most important breakthroughs, the biggest opportunities, they come from stepping into the unknown. Helping others won't always benefit you directly. Kindness doesn't always come back. But research shows that acts of kindness, giving without expecting, actually make life more fulfilling. They give you purpose, whether or not you ever see a reward. People say they want the truth, but let's be honest. Truth can be uncomfortable. That's why so many prefer simple, comforting lies over complicated, difficult realities. It's easier, but it's not always better. You want freedom? Great. But freedom comes with responsibility. More choices mean more decisions, and that can feel overwhelming. It's a paradox. The more freedom you have, the more careful you have to be. And if you really want to understand yourself, don't just look inward. Look at what you do for others. Some of the greatest personal growth happens when you step outside yourself and contribute to something bigger. Fear of failure holds a lot of people back. But failure isn't the problem. Fear is. The truth is, every failure teaches you something. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep going despite it. Avoiding risk? That might feel safe, but it also means missing out. Every great opportunity carries some level of risk. Playing it too safe is sometimes the biggest risk of all. Success? It's funny. The more you obsess over it, the harder it becomes. But when you focus on curiosity, effort, and persistence, success has a way of showing up on its own. Your weaknesses? They're not flaws to be ashamed of. If you acknowledge them, if you work with them instead of against them, they can become your greatest strengths. We live in a hyper-connected world, but loneliness is still on the rise. Technology brings people closer in some ways, but it also creates emotional distance. Just because you're always connected doesn't mean you're truly connected. Power and leadership? Not the same thing. True leadership isn't about control, it's about service. The best leaders don't just command. They listen, they help, they guide. And war for the sake of peace? History has shown us that lasting peace doesn't come from endless fighting. It comes from dialogue, from understanding, from finding common ground. Life is full of contradictions. There are no simple answers, but by embracing the complexity, by being open to uncertainty, by choosing growth over comfort, we get closer to something real, something meaningful. And in the end, isn't that what we're all looking for?